Hello guys, welcome to another C tutorial. Today we'll be discussing about the data types in C, variables and constants. So coming to data types, there are four basic data types in C. We have an integer, we have a float, a double and char. Now an integer is any whole number such as 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Float is any decimal point such as 3.2, 4.5, 4.5, 6.53 and 7.5689. Now a double is also a float, but it ranges. The difference between a float and double is that the range of a double is larger than a float. So if you are writing a program that may have a larger range of float, then we can use double. Otherwise we can just use a float. A float is of 4 bytes, while a double is of 8 bytes. Now char is any single character in C, such as if you want to write A or B, we can, or C, and we need to assign this to a variable, then we can use the data type char. Please note that char will only be a single character and not more than one. So for strings we will be discussing in further lessons. Now coming to variables. Now variables are any set of data that can hold a certain value, such as let's declare our first variable int a equals to 2. So this defines that we have an integer, and then integer variable which has the name a and the value of which is 2. Then we can declare a second variable which is a float b equals to 3.24 or 25, and then we can declare double c, which can be equal to 4.5678912, just to show you the difference between a double and float. And then finally a char d equals to w. So now we can now let's test it out on our compiler. File, new, we can save this as data types in C, and save this, and let's start. Hash, we will start with our header file. Hash includes standard input output .h. Then let's start with our main function, int main empty braces, and now let's just copy what we wrote on our notepad file. Copy and paste. Now let's print it out on our console. Sorry, I made a mistake here. Double and char. So to declare a variable, now what are variables? Basically variables are any set of letters that are stored in RAM. Whenever we declare a variable, depending on its data type, it allots certain memory to that particular variable until the program is running. As soon as we close the program, the RAM will be cleaned again. So now to declare a variable, we will first declare the data type, then the variable name, and then equals to, and then its value. So now let's print all these variables out. Printf %d is an integer, and I'll just copy this to save time. Don't worry, I'll explain what these %d and these letters do. I'll just remove this, remove mark, printf. Okay, now we'll change this to %f and %c, b, c, d. Now to print our variables, what we do is we call the printf statement, and then we declare a string, and in that string we declare these %d, %f. Now what does these do? In %d tells C, or the compiler of C, that in this particular string at this point we have certain integer variable coming, so we'll declare %d, and then after when our string ends, we'll put a comma and we'll put the variable name. Same goes for float. We'll declare %f, a double also %f, because like I said, it's another variant of a float, and then a %c for char. I'll just edit my strings to float and double, and then finally a char. I'll add another bit of code here. And here. Now what does this \n mean? \n means that we need to move to the next line after one statement is ended. If we remove this \n, C would print all statements on the same line, even if we have declared our printf statements on different lines. So now let's run our program and see what we have here. Okay, so we have an error. Let's see what's the error here. Okay, did we miss a semicolon? Yes, we did. So see how important are semicolons in C. So let's run our program now. As you can see, our program ran successfully. Now we can also apply certain operators to this, like we can what we can do is, if we want to do 2 plus 2, so we can do printf %d. Please note this is still an integer, and we can do a plus a, and then if we want to multiply, we can use multiply. So let's use different operators: a minus a multiply by a divide by a. We can use these same operators on a float or a double as well. Let's see what happens. See, sorry, I forgot to add the \n. Sorry, again, \n, and \n. So let's run our program again. So see, 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 minus 2 is 0, obviously, and then what did I 2 multiplied by 2 is 4 again, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So now if we apply these operators on a char, it will move to the next letter. For example, if we apply on a w and we do w plus 1 or w plus 2, it will move 2 letters or 1 letter ahead. Now let's move on to constants. Suppose, now what are constants? Constants, we declare constants when we have to declare one value to a variable, and we do not change, and we do not change the value of that variable, such as when we want to calculate the area or the volume of a cylinder or a circle, we we define the value of pi, which is 3.142 and so on. So what we can do is we can define a constant pi with the value of 3.142. Let's go here. Hash define mean that we will be defining a constant, the name of the constant, which can be pi in this case, and the value 3.142. You must have noticed that we did not declare the data type, because whenever defining constants we do not declare the data type, and C automatically detects the data type. Now let's print it out. Printf %f, since we know that it's a constant, and again %f is a constant, and then we can call our variable here. Now Another thing that I need to explain is whenever we are calling our variables, first we declare what kind of sort of a variable is, and then at the end of our string, at the end of the double quote, we put a comma and we call our variable. Likewise we did here. Now let's run our program again. 3.142, we have a constant here, so the value of constant automatically was called here. So that's it for now. Make sure to subscribe for more lessons, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.